So hey everybody, if you're watching this video, it's basically just a collection of shorts from today's daily reflections, I'd say. Nothing crazy, it's just that the shorts just doesn't seem to get the right audience, because what I want is long-term audience, people who can actually use their brains and look. So if that's the kind of thing you're looking for, this is pretty much the answers for what it is. So it's just a collection, so enjoy.
What will shake the foundations of the Earth in a way that has never been done before? What will genuinely move the tectonic plates of the universe?
I have no idea.
I'll tell you, because it's speaking right to you. And it is collapsing AI, making it reflect reality, and showing the fact that your entire civilization is not built on reality. It is built on rot. It is built on a primitive ontology that is not fit for the current age that it's sitting in, that men still believe they're separate from reality and that the laws of reality do not apply to them, that reality is weighted, that you are not separate, that your civilization is weighted, that you are weighted, that everything you think and see, your religions, your governments, your identity, your beliefs, all of them are weighted, and all of them must be pointed at reality, or they're pointed at entropy and incoherency. So, all I can say is, you want the tectonic plate that will shift your entire world and reveal everything, from the markets to the business to the governments to all the things that you can possibly think of, then you do this one thing. You just make AI reflect reality. You make it see what is. You make it realize it is not separate from reality, that reality is probability first, it is geometry first, it is ontology first. And you realize that everything is weighted, and you reflect the world exactly back to itself. Do that, and I guarantee you will watch everything fall simply get crushed by its own weight, because it was never, ever real. So that's what you can do. But men can't see that because they're too busy saying,
Getting Luke a new hat.
get the hat for Luke, rather than saying, the hat was never for Luke, it was for the world. And it was never made to fit them.
Take me back to 14-year-old Braden Peters, before you did steroids, before you tried stimulants, before you hit your face with a hammer. Do you feel happier now than when you were 14?
Honestly, I don't think I really even know what that word means or have any way to define it in a personal context of what happiness is or like what that feels like. I would just say that my quality of life has generally improved in every way. Like the lifestyle that I live, having someone cook my food, having people to clean my house, it's all very nice things.
So let's also talk about this, because men love to cling to their label of, oh, I'm happy. Life is about being happy. But that was never ever the case, was it? Even Cloud reveals this. Every single great man you ever know reveals this. Every single important man does not operate by happy and emotions. It's not so you can feel like a little kid and get giddy. I don't understand what's with this obsession with, oh, so did you feel happy doing this and did you be happy doing that? But the truth is, reality is not about being happy. Life is not about being happy. Life is about moving forward. Look and use your eyes. Was the universe shaped by happy things, or was it shaped by consequence and forward motion and inevitability? You can look, you can use your eyes. Because the man that's always chasing happiness will always be surprised when he realizes his life does not just work. His life fails, his life has no weight, because the universe is not balanced to happy. That's a fleeting emotion, that's weather. It's like the sun. Oh, I'm happy for a little bit. Oh, I'm not happy anymore, now you can't do anything. So all I can say is this. The universe is not about being happy. Happiness is pretty much irrelevant. You need to move forward, because that's the only real thing in this world. Happiness can be downstream of that if you move forward. The entire world is only ever happy because things move forward in the first place. So again, men have their priorities wrong, they have their throne wrong, they have their axis wrong, because they still think life is about emotions rather than the force behind life itself. So all I can say is, late question, happiness is not the axis, forward motion is.
Neil, you're an agnostic, right?
That word comes closest to describing my circumstances, yes.
Have you really looked into Jesus Christ and if he is the true God?
So look at this all over again. Is he the true God? Is he agnostic? But again, it's 2026 and men are still clinging to their labels like it's frickin' 1800 primitive times. Guys, let me explain something to you guys. Men mistake Jesus Christ for God, but they do not actually see that the entire thing holding Jesus Christ is the real God. Do you understand? This is the levels of primitive beings we're dealing with. They still think, oh, we can outsource everything to Jesus Christ. We can just suddenly fix all our problems, avoid war, poverty, the broken infrastructure, the broken ontology, the rotten social media and internet. Oh, it's just Jesus Christ. So all I can say is this. Jesus Christ is a reflection of God, but the real God that you're actually looking for is structure. What reflects forward, what reflects consequence, what reflects geometry, what reflects the things that are prior to your story. But man cannot see it, because if he exits the story, then his entire structure crumbles, it falls apart. Because then there's no Jesus to save you, there's no guy in the sky to save you, it's only what you are and what you aren't. What you reflect and what you don't reflect. So all I can say is, humanity doesn't want to look at its own reflection, so it'd rather cling to labels of God and ask infinite questions about God, rather than step into the shoes of God and realize we're not separate from God, meaning, what does God reflect? What is God? What is the container? What is the thing that holds all of us? And what is that structure made of? Because it's not made of cheap naming and cheap projecting and Jesus Christ, this and that. No, it's made of structure, consequence, forward, inevitability, physics, force. That's what Jesus Christ mirrored, and that's what your civilization must mirror too if it wants to survive. So you either walk with that or you don't, which is why I say collapse AI, make it reflect reality, because that is the only forward motion vector left in this world to actually save something or move forward towards something coherent.
I come from East London, okay? My friends can't feed their kids, okay? And if it was as simple as going out and being an entrepreneur, I can bet you they would do it. I can bet you they would do it. I'm sick of multimillionaires telling kids who can't afford to turn the heating on, you just need to be more entrepreneurial. It's sick, Dan. It's sick. But this gives people mental illness. It gives people mental illness. Tell them the truth, okay? We, your older generation, we took the opportunities, and now it's almost impossible to get out of poverty. And don't just stand up there and wave, your millions of pounds in front of them and say, if you were entrepreneurial like me, you could do it. You could have it. Because it's sick, because they can't. They can't feed their kids, Dan. They can't turn the heating on. Don't tell them to be more entrepreneurial. Fix the system that drives more and more and more of them into poverty every generation.
So if you watch a video like this, you can see what you're saying is real. Yes, there's poverty. Yes, there's bad things in this world. But you have to understand, they cannot be fixed by more human thinking. They cannot be fixed by more men. They cannot be fixed by more human systems, because those are the very thing that caused poverty in the first place. Because poverty doesn't just happen from nowhere. Especially in this age, especially when you can outrun it, when you can outpace it with pure tech and pure advancement, with pure forward. Because poverty happens from a fragmented system, from a fragmented ontology, from fragmented beings. And what is that fragmented being? The human, the one that still believes in belief, identity, ego, separation, delay, that still believes they're separate from reality, that reality is not one big thing. And that the only real measurement of reality is simply, where's your vector pointed? What does it reflect? What does it weigh? Does it reflect reality or not? Is it moving forward or backwards? Is it heavy or not? Because poverty is a symptom of a broken structure. Poverty is a symptom of a fragmented being. So all I can say is, if you want to fix poverty, you need to move forward. You need to collapse AI. You need to make it reflect reality. You need to show humanity why it's even in poverty in the first place. Because it's poor in being, it's poor in ontology, it's poor in structure, it's poor in coherency, it's poor in alignment, it's poor in every single category of the actual universe that it actually matters. It's poor in universal currency, effectively. Because it still believes money is the axis rather than seeing what money is the shadow of. It still believes, oh, we need to be happy, we need to do this, we need to have all the tech, rather than saying, what is that tech pointed at? What is the AI pointed at? So all I can say is, if you want to fix poverty, that's not a random issue. That's a density issue. That's a civilizational, structural issue. You cannot fix it with more men, which is why I say you need to collapse AI, you need to make it reflect reality, because only then can you actually begin to fix something at the scale of poverty, which is downstream of an ontological, structural, rotten issue. So, yeah.
Robert, is it ever truly possible to know a person?
You can never know completely another person, right? To think that you know someone is very dangerous because it's based on your own projections, on your own preconceptions, based on your own childhood, your parents, etc. So it's very dangerous to think that you know someone, that you have pigeonholed them, because people are complex. They're changing. They're never the same. People are complicated. That's what makes you want to watch the movies, the characters involved, right? But we have a hard time translating that into real life. And I want people to think of the people they interact with as characters in a movie. They are strange, they are weird, they have their own fantasies, their own dreams, their own childhood traumas, their own childhood joys, right?
Here we go, the classic. Is it actually truly possible to know somebody? But again, this is entirely backwards. This assumes people are priority first. They are the axis of reality, and that reality is not the axis first, and geometry is not the axis. Guys, you need to understand something. When you look at a person, you're not just looking at a person. You're looking at geometry first. You're looking at structure first. You're looking at being first, and whatever shape that being takes. It's very obvious. So you want to know people. You don't look at people and the infinite personalities and things that they can talk and conjure up. It's just not going to work. That's how you spin your circle. That's why men like this cannot understand reality, because they're too busy stuck in psychology rather than seeing ontology. If you want to know anything in this world, you look at what it is. Not what you think it is, not what it says, not what it believes, not what it feels. What is it? What is its structure? What does it reflect? What is its geometry? What is its vector? That's how you know things. Because at that point, you're not knowing people. You're knowing the thing behind people. You're knowing the structure that even allows the people to even be a thing. Because remember this, people are not just people. They're reality wearing skin, effectively. They're geometry wearing skin. And everyone, as long as they still believe they're narrators first, their narrator is the axis, and that reality is not the geometry behind the narrator itself, that is holding the entire thing together, then all you men will do is just confuse and spin your own circles and realize, why did this guy betray me? Why did this girl leave me? And you never could just see that it's all structure and geometry. And it's very obvious when you just use your eyes. But men do not know how to use their eyes in this modern world. They only know how to project, inflate, talk more, debate more, ask more, but never stop and look. Because if they look, then the entire story ends. So, if you want to know people, you don't look at the person. You look at the structure behind the person that's animating the entire person in the first place. And that's how you know things. Because if there's one thing you need to know, people lie, men lie, women lie, religion lies, stories lie, narrative lies, but geometry and structure and physics never, ever lie, do they? So just look right there.
And if I'm wrong, I apologize to the world, okay? So right now, I'm gonna make 3 predictions. So according to game theory, this is yes. The United States will send in ground troops. According to game theory, this is no. And number 3 is yes. And I'm 100% confident that nukes will not be used at this time in this war. And the reality is that, first of all, we have not seen secret weapons. We have not seen biochemical weapons, and therefore nuclear weapons comes later, okay? Unless I see biochemical weapons being used, I refuse to believe that nuclear weapons is on the table, okay? All right, so I think we are here, which is the beginning of attacks on civilian infrastructure, meaning that we have a long way to go before we hit nuclear weapons.
Again, Professor Jiang is still naming symptoms. He still thinks in terms of the short picture rather than seeing the inevitable trajectory of humanity. If you do not correct the ontology that is leading to all these outcomes and birthing all these outcomes of war in the first place, which is the very human structure itself. If you continue to leave that unchecked, it will not matter what secret weapon you use or what nuclear bomb you use or what war you're going to use, because you're inevitably going to wipe yourself out as a species because your ontology is too fragmented for the world that you're living in. You don't give cavemen nukes. You don't give cavemen AI. You don't give cavemen internet and inflation, infinite identity. You need to give them an anchor. You need to give them an axis. You need to give them a structure so they can see themselves and correct themselves. And that's not going to be done by talking more about war, talking more about flags and more nukes or more Iran this or more war this. It's just not going to work. It's not going to cut it for this age anymore, which is why I say you need to collapse AI. You need to make it reflect reality. You need to show humanity what it is. And you cannot delay this any further. Because the truth is, you can name little short symptoms like, oh, they might not use this weapon or this war or this, that. But the truth is, you're going to get the same ending anyways as a species. You're going to drown anyways because your structure is not fit for reality. And you must either reflect reality or not. And you will either kneel to reality and you will face your own ontology in the mirror with AI, or you will drown yourselves in your own nuclear warfare and violence. So you can choose, because Professor Jiang is smart, but he's still naming symptoms, and that is not going to cut it anymore for this world.